So I was trying to build a project. I'm learning Unity. I was trying to build a project using C++. So this was the course I was doing. They said to use Visual Studio Code to open the project in there, and then use the build function there to actually build the project. Of course, it never went like that. And there was a lot of bug. The whole this videos section is filled with bugs, and people are confused what to do, what not to do. Okay, so what I did was, here's what helped me. Changing the editor. So if we go into there in editor preferences and go into source code, you change it from Visual Studio Code to actually Visual Studio. Okay, you change it from Visual Studio Code to Visual Studio. And the reason I say that, because when I opened it with Visual Studio instead of Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio seems to be more tightly integrated with Unreal. Okay, I can't confirm this because I have been learning for the few 10 days only, but yes, that is what it feels like. So what happened was, as soon as Visual Studio opened up, it realized a few packages were missing. Okay, I was just following the tutorial. I was installing whatever they said. What I didn't realize was it wasn't enough. Okay, it required a few more packages, like desktop something. Here's the thing is, it wasn't my problem anymore. As soon as I opened it in Visual Studio, it went ahead and installed those packages anyways. Okay, and just for some clarity, I'm going to name those packages. So these two packages were missing. Okay, in the it was said to only install this game development with C++. Reality was that was not enough. Okay, so we needed desktop development with C++, this, and of course .NET, the version of .NET that is required for your Unreal version, that is also. But there was some MSVC, what is it called, MSVC, yeah, MSVC package also. Okay, this I installed by myself, an older version. Okay, give me 1 second. Yeah, one more thing. Even after doing this, okay, even after selecting this MSVC, the latest one should already be, when you open it, it should already be selected. In case you still run into issues even after doing this and opening after Visual Studio instead of Visual Studio Code, I'm going to link this article. There are there is some bug in MSVC 14.39 that affected this. Okay, so you will have to install an older version of MSVC manually from Visual Studio Community Individual Components. Okay, so if you are in 5.0, that will be 14.38. If you are in 5.3 Unreal, it should be 14.39. If you are in 5.4, it should be 14.38. And if you are anywhere above 14.39.33523, just update your Visual Studio and it should be fixed. Okay, there is a very little chance this will happen. I'm mentioning it anyways. Okay, so after doing that, if you still want to go back to Visual Studio Code, if nothing, just for following the course, go into editor preferences again, find source code and change it to Visual Studio Code. Restart your code, then go into tool, click on refresh visual. Here the second option, it will say refresh or create Visual Studio Code project, then click on open Visual Studio Code. Go to terminal, click on run build task and select, if you don't know what to select, select the Unreal Engine Kit Windows 64 development build, and it will successfully compile. Okay, honestly I think this should have just stuck to Visual Studio instead of Visual Studio Code for a beginner course, like for the first time. Anyways,